Welcome to Hannity. Tonight, the Biden cover-up continues. Straight ahead, we will bring you all the truly unbelievable details from today's testimony on Capitol Hill, featuring top Biden White House advisor Anita Dunn. Also tonight, my take on the downfall, it's tragic, of Howard Stern.
If woke means I can't get behind Trump, which is what I think it means, or that I support people who want to be transgender, or I'm for the vaccine, dude, call me woke as you want.
The once legendary radio host suffering from stage 5 Trump COVID woke derangement syndrome. As a result, he might soon be out of a job. But we begin with another chapter from the Democratic Party's radical transformation. Now, last night on the show, we were literally giving you example after example how woke Marxists like Zoran Marxist Mamdani have become the heart and soul of the party. Now, the long-serving Democratic Party establishment, barely clinging on by their dentures, are now echoing Mamdani's insane beliefs, things they would not have said 10, 12, 15 years ago. For example, Nancy Pelosi calling on the federal government to provide sex change operations for children. Take a look.
How is your office responding to the pauses in gender-affirming care here in California?
Well, that is something that I'm working for at the national level, and we have, how can I say, are hoping that we can have gender-affirming care for our trans kids, and that it's a sad thing for us.
First observation, she went after Joe Biden. Joe Biden could go after her for the same problem. She could barely utter 2 sentences. Now, 20 years ago, here's the point. The word transgender wasn't even in Nancy Pelosi's vocabulary. She, at the time, was busy criticizing the Bush White House for not fully securing the border and called on the government to stop all illegal immigration. I'm not making it up. Let's go to the videotape.
Support also enforcing laws, current laws, against those who came here illegally and those who hire illegal immigrants. Yet the Bush administration has refused to do just this.
What? Talk about a dramatic shift. Now our top priority is taxpayer-funded sex change operations for children. So my point here is the views, priorities, the evolution, the beliefs of the Democratic Radical Socialist Marxist Party, they've totally, completely gone off the rails. They have no real identity. And this brings us to yet another example. Raging Cajun, our old friend Crazy James Carville, has never been viewed by his own party as a radical. Remember, he worked for Bill Clinton. Their big government is now over, end of welfare as we know it. But now Carville is openly calling on Democrats to rig future elections and even the U.S. Supreme Court in order to, quote, save democracy. Meanwhile, what happened in the last 10 years? They've undermined democracy. Take a look.
The Democrats win the presidency, the Senate, and the House in 2028, which is not impossible. I don't know if you say likely or possible. I don't know what word you know, but it's certainly not impossible. They are just going to have to unilaterally add Puerto Rico and the District of Columbia states. They're going to have to, the Congress does give, the Constitution gives Congress power over federal elections. I don't think they can redistrict, but they're things they're going to do. They're going to have to do it. They're just going to have to do it. And they may have to expand the court to 13 members. If you want to save democracy, I think you got to do all of those things. Because we just are moving further and further away from being anything close to democracy.
Oh, okay. If Democrats get power, he's telling you what they should do. Statehood for D.C. and Puerto Rico, and pack the courts, the U.S. Supreme Court. If President Trump, his fellow Republicans, created 2 new conservative states, if they packed the U.S. Supreme Court and they expanded it, what do you think the likes of James Carville, Nancy Pelosi, Jasmine Crockett, AOC, the Squad, Mamdani, what would they all be saying? They wouldn't like it. According to Democrats, it's only different When they do it, then it's okay. Now, you're seeing the same thing play out right now with redistricting and gerrymandering. Now, this is a game. Democrats, they have written the rules. They have mastered gerrymandering for decades in blue state after blue state after blue state. But when Republicans in a red state like Texas redraw the congressional lines, it is undermining democracy. It is racist. This is unbelievable. As you can see, while the core beliefs of the Democratic Party, they have now shifted to the extreme. They're nothing like the party they used to be. But their tactics, they do remain the same, although they have added, a lot of new words. They like the word Nazi, and they like to use Nazi analogies every day. Always looking to game the system, gain power, while smearing, slandering, besmirching their own political opponents as the true villains. Here's another example. Democrat Stacey Abrams, Georgia, telling us how she really feels about President Trump, as if I care. But I'll play it anyway.
I use the term autocracy because that describes a system of government where one position holds absolute power. Among the many other vile things that Donald Trump has been called, including tyrant, liar, scam artist, he is also an aspiring dictator, supported and guided like a puppet by a cabal of tech billionaires, Christian nationalists, and xenophobes who all have his ear and understand government a lot better than he does.
Notice the media, Democrats, they all say the same words at the same time. You got conspiracy theorists, Rachel Maddow using that same word earlier in the week. Now she's using it. Now soon everybody will use it. Someone should let that aspiring governor know that, unlike her, Donald Trump actually won his election, is now rightfully fulfilling his duties as president. But remember, Democrats now only care about democracy when they win. If they lose, all bets are off. In fact, America's biggest city could soon be led by an actual communist who wants to upend our entire system and empower his regime to seize private property, the means of production, and, tax white people more than other people. He used to have a name for that. And today, Zoran Marxist Mamdani declared that nothing will get in the way of his movement, and President Trump can't stop him, and he will be Trump's biggest enemy. I'm sure Trump is scared to death. He's probably cowering behind the new ballroom he's making at the White House. Take a look.
My approach to Washington will not be a reflexive one. It is one that will be in opposition to Donald Trump's administration when it comes for New Yorkers, when it comes at the expense of the welfare of the people that I am seeking to serve. If the president and the administration is looking to work for the benefit of New Yorkers, which is what he spent so much of his campaign speaking about, that is a different conversation. My administration would be Donald Trump's worst nightmare. And you don't need to take me at my word or take Andrew Cuomo at his. You need to only look at the actions of the Trump administration since I won the Democratic primary.
His worst nightmare, he will have no impact on Donald Trump. If Mamdani wins in the fall, it's simple. That's just bad for the city of New York. It's bad for the state of New York. We don't know exactly how bad things will become. One thing is certain. We see the same thing in every blue city, every blue state run by Democrats for decades. The budget will be mismanaged. Your taxes will go up. Law and order will disappear. The quality of life will decline. You'll probably have a lot more homeless people, people shooting up in the streets. And in this case, you'll probably get free sex change operations no matter where you live in the U.S. Go to New York. They may pay for your airfare and they may pay for your hotel. The same exact thing is happening right under Chicago's far left mayor. Take a look.
We have reached a point of no return. The systems that people rely upon, education, healthcare, housing, our transportation, they are woefully underfunded. And everyone knows that. Everyone knows what, my commitment is to progressive revenue. I can't do this by myself.
All right, here's the thing about the left's their love affair with Marxism, socialism, statism, whatever ism you want to put on it, it's always the same. They always have unfulfilled promises. You always end up paying more in the end. You always lose your freedom in the end. And at some point, they always run out of other people's money, as Margaret Thatcher famously said. And in the process, they destroy the spirit and innovation of a city or a state. If Americans don't have the numbers to break one-party rule at the ballot box, they will vote with their feet. I can tell you from experience, states like Mine, I'm in the free state of Florida tonight. By the way, weather's very good all year long, and it's very welcoming. So's Texas, so's Tennessee, so are the Carolinas. By the way, if you're a socialist and you want to come to any of those states, leave your stupid policies at home.